Welcome back everybody to our coverage of EICMA in Milan, the biggest and best motorcycle show in the world, and we're back at a very busy Aprilia stand to have a look at a new rally version of their excellent Touareg 660. Now this was already a very accomplished off-roader, but this one takes it up a notch to celebrate their recent success in the African Eco Race, which is some kind of hardcore rally off-road race in Africa. Now they say they tried to make it as close as possible, this production version, to the race bike that's over there, and so this could be one to consider if you really want to get an adventure bike that takes the off-road side of things properly serious. And so in this video we'll go through everything that you need to know about it. Now no massive changes to the engine, but the 660 parallel twin that you also get in their Tuono 660 and the RS 660 sports bike was already an absolute peach, and so there's no massive need for any changes there. Now in this particular tune for the Touareg, it's a little down on power. It makes 80 horsepower peak at 9,250 RPM, but it makes 70 Newton meters of peak torque at 6,500 RPM, and it does have a lovely spread of power right through the rev range. So yeah, no changes to those performance figures, although there are some little tweaks, like the throttle bodies have gone from 48 millimeters up to 52, which they say improves efficiency. And then also there's a new rare earth generator with less inertia, so the engine should feel a little bit quicker to spin up and rev up. On top of that, there's a new throttle map, which I believe is fitted to all of the Touaregs for 2025, but what it does is gives you a slightly more lively response at the throttle, and they say for off-roading that's particularly beneficial because it allows you to flick the front end up and get over obstacles and stuff like that. One thing that this bike does get though, this rally model that's specific to it, is the exhaust system, which is an SC Project silencer, and it does add quite something to the looks, I think. It's titanium with a little race style end cap, a carbon cover where it joins to the headers as well, so definitely gives it a little bit of a quality look. But also they say they fitted it to save some weight, and one of the things specific to this bike is the fact that it weighs 5 kilograms less than the standard model. So I think that one comes in at 204 kilograms, whereas this is nice and light at 199. Now, you know, it's not night and day. I don't think it's going to absolutely transform the riding experience, but certainly when it comes to off-roading, every little helps. Suspension is still from KYB, so you've got a 43 millimeter upside down fork, a KYB monoshock at the rear, and this was already a really tall bike at 240 mil in the travel. That's definitely on the upper end for middleweight adventure bikes, and so that's probably why they didn't feel like they needed to give it a huge boost in that sort of department. They have, however, changed the internals a little bit. So in terms of the fork springs, they're progressive on the standard bike, which gives you a little bit more comfort on the road, whereas these are linear springs, so the sort of coil rate is constant throughout the entirety of the spring. And what they say that does, and they openly admit it sacrifices a bit of comfort, is gives you more consistent feeling and control off-road, and so they say it is much improved when it comes to rough terrain. On top of that, they say it also minimizes static sag, so the bike doesn't sag down quite so much, and that gives you actually in practice a bit more travel because it's not as sagged through the stroke. Now this might seem like a minor detail, and it really is a fairly modest change, but I think in practice it's something that will be really beneficial using the bike day in, day out. They've changed the side stand and they've put a bit of an extender on the foot, and so that means it doesn't lean over quite so much, and with it not sagging so much, it will be quite a tall bike to pick up off the stand, and so that's definitely going to help. And also the bigger footprint means it won't sink into like soft surfaces if you do stop somewhere off-road. Now naturally, if you are going to attempt some sort of rally riding with this bike, it'll probably get dropped a few times, and so they have fitted it with some extra protection and different bits of bodywork. There's a high front mudguard for a little bit more mud clearance, a thicker skid plate under the sump there to keep it protected from rock strikes, more robust handguards that have a metal frame to them, so they should keep your hands safe from any big branches and things like that, and also a new chain guide which is specific to this model. Then you've got some changes to the ergonomics which should make it a little bit better for off-roading as well. So they've raised the seat by 20 millimeters and raised the bars, and so that takes what was already quite a tall bike at 860 mil and makes it a lofty 880, so definitely not one for those who are short in the leg, but it is fairly typical for these more aggressive adventure bikes. And if you think of something like the Tenere 700 Rally that we looked at yesterday, That was 910mm in the seat, and so you might say that this is actually rather generous. Plus, when it comes to going between the seat and standing up and transitioning between the two, as you will do frequently on an adventure bike, a higher seat is just going to make that a little bit easier, and the higher bars should be better stood up as well. Now, before we get onto the next bit of the bike, I just want to give a massive shout out to DJI for supporting the channel and helping us to cover EICMA. For the Bobcam, which we've been showing you around the bike with, we've been using their flagship Osmo Action 5 Pro, which is the camera we use back home for capturing all of our rides and reviews, and we thoroughly recommend it. It's nice and small and light and compact. It's got brilliant battery life, excellent image quality, and a great magnetic mounting system which makes it easy to take on and off and move around the bike. The perfect camera in my book for capturing motorcycle rides and travels and stuff like that, and so do check out the link down in the description below to find out more. And once again, a big thanks to DJI for supporting us and helping us get here. Now, another tweak for this rally model is they have revised the wheel set. They say it's stronger and sturdier so it can take those bigger impacts off-road. The only trade-off is it's no longer tubeless, so if you are a road rider who likes to be able to quickly plug a puncture, then that's no longer going to be possible, but some off-road riders might prefer tubes and find those easier to repair. And also you could run mousses if you are riding it properly for rally events and stuff like that. Now, to give it some of the race bikes look, they've gone with an Aprilia racing paint job, and I've got to say it really does suit this bike nicely. It's not a colorway we've seen before. They typically go with like the red, white and blue for the Tuaregs, but this looks absolutely fantastic there. Signature black, popping red and purple, and also with a bit of gold on the hardware and the wheels, it sets it all off and makes for a great looking adventure bike. In fact, it might be my favorite Tuareg finish that they've ever released. No price on this one as of yet, but the standard bike for last year was £10,750. You occasionally see them a bit discounted on the website as well, but assuming that that bike might creep up a little bit for this year, we're looking at maybe, you know, 12-ish thousand pounds for this one, I'd expect, with some of the upgrades, and also the fact that it is a fancier looking bike that's got that visual appeal. So let's wrap up with some scores. I'm fully expecting this one. I mean, it was already a great bike to ride off-road, so this one I'm saying is 4 out of 5 probably for off-road performance. You'll sacrifice a bit on-road and some of the comfort with the suspension, but still, looks like it'll be good. 4 out of 5 for features as well. It's got everything you need. Good brakes, those stronger wheels, good suspension, a great tech package. It gets the same tech package as the standard Tuareg, which was already comprehensive. And then styling, I've gone 4 out of 5 too. You gotta say, this is a great looking bike, and one thing that really helps it is that high front mudguard, which gives it a more dirt bike looking front end that I think suits its intended purpose. Affordability as well. I mean, I think $10,750 was already quite good for the standard bike, and so for what this bike can do, I've gone 4 out of 5 again, because I don't expect it's going to be super expensive, and it's certainly going to be a lot cheaper than a large capacity adventure bike, which might be over spec for the job. That's a 16, which is a strong score. Definitely puts it up towards the top. As always though, I'd love to know what you think of it and what you think of my scores down in the comments below, and I'll also put our playlist on the screen now so you can check out all the videos we've made so far, as well as whatever comes next. Do hit subscribe as well, because we've got more videos to come from here, as well as Motorcycle Live in a couple of weeks, where we'll recap all the new bikes by manufacturer. A massive thanks for watching today, and we'll see you in the next video.